Welcome back to another episode of DAS with your host, Sean Mack. And today we're going to be discussing Hank Gathers, one of the biggest what-if stories in NCAA basketball history. What if the doctor never changed the dosage of his medicine? What if the doctor never told him to go out and play while he was changing the dosage of his medicine? And we have to have a little culpability on Hank as well. What if Hank actually took the medicine serious? It was known that he didn't like how it made him feel, and it made him feel a little droggy. But what if he took it a little serious? Then he did. If you like today's content, make sure you share, like, and subscribe to the video. So let's go. On December 9th of 1989, Gathers collapsed at a LMU home game against UC Santa Barbara. He was found to have an abnormal heartbeat and was prescribed a beta blocker, Enduro. However, Gathers felt that the medication adversely affected his play, and his dosage was gradually cut back. Originally prescribed at 240 milligrams per day, his Enduro dosage was cut to 40 milligrams per day over the next 3 months. Gather returned after sitting 3 weeks and missing 2 games, and he averaged 29.3 minutes and 29.1 points in his 20 games throughout the remainder of the season. However, he struggled with his play for weeks after returning. His play fully recovered in a nationally televised game against the LSU Tigers on February 3rd of 1990, when he dropped 48 points and grabbed 13 rebounds, while being guarded by the future first-round draft picks, Stanley Roberts and Shaquille O'Neal, in a 148-141 overtime loss. The Lions won 7 of their next 8 games, and Gathers recorded a career-high 30 rebounds against St. Mary's. On February 26 of 1990, as the WCC tournament neared, Gathers' medication was reduced one last time from 80 milligrams to 40 milligrams on the condition that he undergo testing in a couple of days to determine if it was safe and effective at suppressing the arrhythmias. He did not show up for his test that week and avoided calls from his cardiologist's office. On March 2nd of that year, he had a long talk with his cardiologist, who told him to play and come in for testing after the tournament concluded. It was later suspected Gathers was not taking any dosage on game days. The following day, in the WCC tournament quarterfinals in Los Angeles, he recorded 28 points and 11 rebounds in a 121-84 win over Gonzaga. On Sunday, March 4th, Gathers collapsed again with 13 minutes and 34 seconds left in the first half of the semifinals game against the Portland Pilots. He had just scored on a alley-oop dunk pass from the point guard Terrell Lowry that put the Lions up 25-13. 13 seconds later, while positioned around midcourt in the Lions' full-court press, he collapsed a yard or two from the Pilots' point guard Eric Spoelstra. He attempted to get up, telling the athletic trainers, quote, "I don't want to lay down," end quote. Shortly after, he stopped breathing. Gathers was pronounced dead at nearby Marina Del Rey Hospital at 6:55 West Coast time. He was only 23 years old at the time of his passing. Minutes after Gathers was taken to the hospital, the WCC commissioner suspended the game indefinitely. ESPN showed graphic footage of Gathers' collapse on SportsCenter. The network was at the game recording advanced footage for the championship game it was scheduled to televise the next night. Later that night, the WCC canceled the tournament and awarded Loyola the conference's automatic bid to the NCAA tournament due to his WCC regular season title. Gathers was buried at Mount Lawn Cemetery in Sharon Hill, Pennsylvania. An autopsy found that he suffered from a heart muscle disorder, hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. His family later filed a $32.5 million lawsuit charging negligence. Loyola Marymount settled out of court for $1.4 million, while the cardiologist who treated Gathers settled for $1 million. I started off this video by saying this is one of the biggest what-ifs in college basketball history. And I have some notes, stuff I want to talk about. We'll get through this and I'll get you on out of here. If you like today's content, make sure you share, like, and subscribe to the channel. It really helps. And make sure you hit all the notifications. For some reason people not getting the notifications. Make sure you hit on the notifications so once I drop a video, boom, it's right at you. It's all in your notification screen, all there. The doctors should have never changed his dosage, and he paid for that $1 million in a lawsuit. He should have never told him to play while changing his dosage of medicine. It's ridiculous. He's held accountable. So, but Hank, as a man, I don't know, this seems to only happen with men. If he would have just took his medicine a little bit more serious and at least took him on game day and just fought through however it made you feel, how dry it made you feel, how down it made you feel, you had to fight through it, or just give up your dream of basketball. At least your family will still have you here. But I want to get to something. This is usually prevalent with men. Don't ask me why with men. I share a little something story with you. My father had a heart attack. Supposed to take his heart medicine every day. My mother asked me, "You took your medicine, James?" Yeah, she counted the pills. He haven't taken them for 4 days. Not sure who he think he's cheating or lying to her or trying to trick her, but all you're going to do is trick yourself out of your life. And I don't know, I'm pretty sure it happens with women as well. But for my uncle, a few other people I've known in my lifetime, I heard of, it's always the men. We're pig-headed. We're just bulls. We think that we can be all right without the medicine. Have a cousin, seizures. Have one. Go to the hospital. What happened? Wasn't taking my medicine. I thought I was okay. And that changing of dosage usually gets them in between. Either they're not taking it or they're trying to make up for the days that they didn't take it. And it's just not in your system and things happen. But I just want to say to all men out there and people out there, if you have some type of ailment and you're taking medicine, make sure you stay up on top of your medicine, because this is a key tell from this story. Moving on from that, when I do these stories, the DAS, I like to take an athlete that I like, that something that they did in their lifetime actually meant a little something to me. And that happened to be 1990, sitting on a couch with C. Anthony, my brother. He's older. And we're watching basketball. We watching Shaq and LSU Tigers. We know they're coming on. We're about to watch them. I'm like, Corey, what do you know about Hank? The only thing I knew about Hank at that time was a few weeks prior that he had passed out. And it was all on the news that he passed out. And it wasn't quite sure what was wrong with him. So that's the only reason I knew of him. I'm like, Corey, is he any good? He was like, yeah, him and Bo Kimball, they're pretty good. Just watch the game. And the game comes on. I think Shaq blocked his first 5 shots. And after the game, they asked Bo about that. They say Bo told Shaq, good luck blocking the next 30, because Hank gonna keep coming at you. He won't stop coming at you. And Hank just kept on coming. I'm watching this game. He's giving Stanley Roberts the business. He's too slow. He's giving Shaq the business. Shaq is quicker than Stanley, but what Hank would do would take Shaq on the perimeter, give him the business. Vernell Singleton, too skinny. I look up. This man has 40-something points, 13 rebounds. Matter of fact, he had 48 points, 13 rebounds, and Shaq had 20 points, 20 rebounds, and 12 blocks. Shaq was going beast mode. Shaq then wound up winning that game 148-141 in overtime. But it was one of those things. I sat on my couch. It was a hot day in New Orleans, and he was just giving Shaq them the business. Even though they won that game, I was like, wow, this kid is giving them the business. He was on the cover of Sports Illustrated after that, and the interview, it was like, welcome to the world. This is Hank Gathers. He was giving him the business. Little did I know, a month after that game was played, that would be the end of Hank Gathers. I was waiting for him to go to the NBA and all that type of stuff. But let's go over some of Hank's stats. His career college stats. As a freshman, he played at USC, which I didn't know. Totally forgot about it. Didn't know nothing about it. But his freshman year, he was at a USC. 8 points, 5 rebounds. Then he goes to Loyola Marymount. Sophomore year, 22 points, 9 rebounds. Junior year, 32 points, 14 rebounds. This guy averaged 32 points and 14 rebounds as a junior. Senior year, 29 points, 11 rebounds. That's what he was averaging. He definitely was going to be the number 1 pick. That got me thinking, who was the number 1 pick that year, 1990 draft? Happened to be Derek Coleman. He went to the Nets. So then my mind go to working and thinking, if he went to the Nets with that first round pick, who was on that team? I think you might have had Kenny Anderson was coming. I know you had Drazen Petrovic, and you had a few more pieces. But think if he went there, just like I do with Len Bias, if he went to the Celtics and took over for Bird, if he went there, speaking on Hank Gathers, and he actually put up the points that we thought he was going to put up, he was 6'7", 210 pounds, and it'll always make me think it would have changed the trajectory of Jordan's career. You know what I'm saying? And that's where I get to the what ifs. If he didn't pass and the doctor didn't do this and he took his medicine serious, how it changed the future of the NBA. I think he would have did well. I think he would have been right up there with MJ. He would have been an inch taller, maybe the same weight, a little bit lighter. But the things that he was doing was on MJ level, just from a bigger person. It was like Pippen's body, but doing MJ type stuff. Had a nice outside game, had a nice inside game, could run the floor with the ball in his hand, great passer, all that good stuff. I think his sophomore year, his first year, he averaged eight assists. So he was doing this thing. I just want to say rest in peace to Hank. And one more thing before I get on out of here. That team, that Loyola Marymount team, averaged 122.4 points a game. Talk about running. It was running gun. It was running shoot. They were way ahead of their time. I forget the coach name. He had the little slick back hair. He was a beast. He was way ahead of his time as far as coaching and putting people in the right spots and running that ball. It was almost like the Nash Phoenix Suns and Stoudemire and D'Antoni decades before then. So I'm going to get on out of there on that note. Rest in peace to Hank. Hope your family's doing well and everything. I know they still miss you, even though it's been decades and decades. So if you like today's content, make sure you share, like, and subscribe to the channel. I've been Sean Mack, and this is Death After Sports. Hank gathers. Peace.